Team Perfect Cuts, we at it again, y'all. We here in LaGrange, Georgia at Pine Road Park, man. It's a large tournament on the water today, so man, it's gonna be kind of rough out here. It's gonna be a lot of pressure on the water today. But we're gonna get in and we're gonna try to check these fall patterns out again. As you know, in the last video, we've been working on these fall patterns and the baits and type thing that we've been using to throw. So in just a second, I'm gonna pull out my baits and load up my rods, and I'm gonna show you the baits and things that we're gonna be throwing today. And we're gonna get out today and work the secondary points. We're gonna try the secondary points and also some of the laydowns in the area. So y'all check back in with me a little later. We're gonna work these banks and work these patterns. We're gonna let y'all know how to get the big fish in the boat. Team Perfect Cuts, we at it again, y'all. Thank y'all for watching the channel. A lot of boats on the water today, y'all. All right, y'all, check this out, y'all. You know, in the YouTube world, everybody always put all their smart decisions on YouTube. They try to put all the good info out on YouTube. But today, man, I'm going to take this opportunity to tell you some of the dumb things that I've done in bass fishing. Today, I was doing a little maintenance on the boat earlier during the week. So, you know, I was kind of working on my auto trim and doing some things of that sort. So when I came off the water last Saturday, I went ahead and charged my batteries and everything, and I left them sitting in the boat. Assuming, hold on 1 minute, the sun kind of came in. Assuming that my batteries would still have enough charge to come out and fish this morning. Well, come out on the water this morning, bag into the water, get everything squared away. And when I got ready to turn my graph on, I seen it said low voltage. I did not go back and charge my battery last night before I came on the water. Now, I know many of y'all laughing, but I know some more bass fishermen out there done the same thing before. So what I'm asking y'all, man, down in the comment section, if it's ever happened to you, just tell the truth. It ain't no perfect angler in the world. Just tell the truth. And look, I'm so hard-headed and so stubborn. Check this out. I got a little bit of juice left on my trolling motor. I am not finna put this bad boat back on this trailer yet without fishing. So, hey, y'all, the video may be a little shorter than normal. I'm gonna stick around the banks here and around the docks here and just fish, man. Hey, Team Perfect Cuts at it again, y'all. I know this is happening to some more people. I know y'all probably laughing, hee, ha, ha, but it's happening to you. And if it haven't happened to you already, it's coming one day. Oh, man, look at here, man. So I'm still going to work these baits, man. I'm going to work, I'll tell you what, I'll just check back in with you guys a little later after I figure this thing out. Well, guys, here's a few of the baits that I'll be working with today. I'll be using a swim bait with a underspin again, once again. Also, I love that Shaky head by Big Bite with the floating tail. Strike King, I think it's a sexy shad flute I'll be throwing. Also a spook for top water. And I'll be using the rattle trap again for any schooling fish that I see. As y'all know, I always keep a jig on board. But what I got for you today, man, as y'all know, I'm gonna be at the bank. I got a new rig, man, that I'm gonna show y'all how I rig up my wacky rig. I'll give you a little bit more information on it a little bit at the end of the video, and I'll kind of walk you through the process of how I rig my wacky rig. Some of you may already do it and some may not, but this is something new that most guys don't use. You know, they use a little one-out hooks and they throw them out there, but this is a new, wow. I just happened to see a couple of fish busting on the surface out there. As y'all know, My battery's dead in my boat, so I better go out and take every opportunity that I can get. So, hey man, I'm gonna check back in with you guys in a little bit. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna rig up a, as I tell you before, I like to throw the caffeine shad by KVD Strike King, man. I'm gonna show you also how I rig it. A lot of guys sometimes use weighted hooks and things of that sort to get it down, but what I do, I just take a regular 4/0 hook and I Texas rig it. Just kind of thread it through the top as you normal Texas rig, directly through the middle. Slide it all the way back over the overbend. And this is a key point when you're working this bait, so that you want to rig it in, but you want to make it where it has a slight arch in it. I personally never come all the way back through. I just kind of thread the skin right at the surface and take it back in so that the bait will have a slight hump in it. As you can see, it has a slight hump in the bait. And what this does, it helps the bait to sink down to the bottom when I'm working it. Once again, this is a caffeine shad that I'm going to be throwing this morning. We're just gonna kind of work these baits. As I always tell you, man, in the fall, early fall, keep covering water. Don't spend a lot of time in one spot working one areas, man. Make sure you keep covering water. And the way that the fish are schooled up, man, sometimes it's a bit hard to find them. But once you find them, man, you got the mother load. Once you hit a couple smaller ones, just continue to work that area. And what I usually do, if I get a couple of small bites with this fluke about mid-range, what I do, I kind of let it sink to the bottom and I work the bottom, because a lot of the larger fish like to kind of sit at the bottom. They let all the small ones go out to work and then they wait for the bait fish to just float down to the bottom so they can get a big meal. Kind of the way we do. Let all the other people do all the work and then we just sit back and wait on the meal. So we're gonna continue to work this bank this morning, man. Keep the trolling motor rolling, man, and see what we can do. Y'all know I can't go far. Well, guys, I'm gonna work these banks over here. One thing I don't have to worry about today is my rod's blowing off the rod deck because there's no speed. So we're just gonna work these banks, y'all. We're just gonna work them slowly. Fog is still settling on the water this morning, so hopefully we can do a little damage today, a little local damage. One more tip, guys, to always remember is when I throw in a shaky head, what I usually do, man, I always keep my fingers on that line, man. What it basically does, it just gives you the opportunity to feel some bites that you may have missed without feeling it. I throw a 100% fluorocarbon line with my shaky heads, and but I just wanted to let you guys know, always keep a finger on that line so you can feel it, especially if you don't have the right rod and reel set up that can feel the bites. You know, you can go cheap on a lot of things, but you definitely need to get the tools that you need to get the fish in the boat. So also be careful about the rod selection that you have, especially when it comes to bass fishing. Immediately after I told y'all I was gonna switch the color, man, this little spot started to bite. So I may stick with this this green pumpkin for a little while longer, man, and see what it produced, man. Immediately after, small one, but you know they got a little girth on them, but there's still a couple of small ones. It's a largemouth, so I'm gonna stick with this color a little longer, man. We're gonna see how it turns out. As you can see, man, I'm about to kind of switch this up. There's no visibility in the water at all right now. When I was over by the dock earlier, it's about 3 foot visibility, but as I get on around the bank, the further I get out, the water gets a bit more murky. I mean, it's zero visibility over here. So what I do usually when I get in situations like that, man, I go to a darker color. I'm a wacky rig this this Zoom trick worm here in black, and I'm actually gonna put this big bite June bug color on my shaky head, man, and we're gonna kind of keep working and see what we can do. While I'm doing that, man, I'm gonna show you guys, if you remember in the last couple of videos, I told you I had a couple secret ways that I do things, man, that I necessarily didn't put it on the last video. So what I decided to do, man, is this time I'm gonna expose it, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I do. All right. What I do, man, I take about a 4/0 hook. You can use a smaller hook, but instead of rigging this traditionally, the Texas rig way, where you go down in, you know, the traditional way, what I do, man, I come down about midways, and I take that and I insert it in, and I rig that similar to the same way I would do it if I was Texas rigging. I come in and I come right back out of the bait there, and I slide that all the way up until the bend off there. All right. Once I get it up to that area, I flip it, and what I do, I go directly back into the worm. Go right back into it, and I rig it weedless. I just kind of put it right into the surface of the worm. All right. Now what this does, man, if you guys look at the way that it hangs, it gives it a kind of an odd profile. Something different from what the fish are used to seeing. And for me, man, it works. You know, some of you guys, if you haven't tried it, please definitely try it and add in the comments of how it worked out for you. But I'm definitely telling you, it's something new that most guys don't throw this. So, and if you're throwing it, man, congratulations to you. You found the jackpot, or you hit the jackpot. But if you're not throwing it, man, you definitely should try it out, man, and see exactly what I'm talking about. It's just something different. And if you think about it, in bass fishing, anything that's a bit different stands out on the water, man. When most guys are throwing the same baits all the time, fish get used to seeing the same thing, so they get kind of finicky and they don't want to bite it. But if you do something slightly different, if you remember, bass fishing is all about technique, finding a different technique, finding something new that the fish have not seen, and begin to work that, man, and just see how it works out for you. And so what I do, man, I continuously try to find new techniques and new ways to expand myself when it comes to bass fishing. So you guys definitely try it. Look down in the comment box and just let me know how this bait worked out for you. If it don't work out for you, hey, put it in there, man. I tried that thing and I hate it. But if it works out for you, man, definitely comment and put thumbs up and let me know how it turned out for you, man. Also, I throw this on a 7-foot with 8-pound braid. And the reason I use braid, man, sometimes when I'm throwing close to structure and some laydowns, man, I like to have something that I can kind of snag those fish back out. But I'm throwing it on a 7-foot Ike Edition Ava Garcia rod and reel. And I like it because it has a smooth cast ratio, man. I can kind of get that bait out there a little further when I throw it on the spinning gear than I can with a bait cast when I'm throwing weightless. So, and I also like the tip. I like a bit of a flex tip when I'm throwing a wacky rig so that I can see any hits that the bait get. I like to know in advance, hey, if a fish is following, if they brush up against it, I can feel each and everything that's on the bottom, especially when I have that soft tip. And when I have that braided line, I can feel everything as I'm going through. So this is how I do it, man. Like you said, there may be a lot of people that disagree with it, but you know, I don't knock it. You know, if you disagree with it and you get fish in the boat your way, hey, thanks. Thank be to God that you're doing it your way. But I just continuously use the ways and the things that helps me get fish in the boat. And I keep using it till it fails me. You know, if it fails me, if I stop getting bites, I'll switch it up and I'll try your method. But that's what bass fishing is all about. Watch and learn as much material as you can, man, because your technique by itself does not work in all situations. So you really got to pay attention to each and everything when it comes to the water clarity, the types of bait that you throw. And also keep in mind, man, when you go to a new body of water, you should really do your research. Find out the key places that you should go. Find out the landscape of the area that you're fishing. And so, matter of fact, one more thing I want to show you guys. As I work this bank around, I can clearly see when the water level changes. If you look, when you begin to see the ripples on the water and it begins to get calm, this isn't guaranteed, but that lets you know a break in the water. So for those of you guys that don't have graphs, you pay attention to the landscape. When you see the ripples on the top of the water, that means that that's a bit more deeper water, and you can kind of see where the water breaks off at because it's more calm in the shallow water. And so I like to pay attention to those. So we're going to work this bank, and I'm going to work it according to that pattern that I just told you. I'm going to take my bait and I'm going to throw it into the deeper water and drag it up the structure back into the shallow water and see if we can get a couple of bites that way. So once again, you guys that do not have any electronics, pay attention to this method that I'm using because it can definitely help you. You got to figure out the contour of the water, the depths and the valleys, so that the fish in the fall time, they like to sit in those little coves and valleys where they can ambush fish as they're coming out of the deep water. So ambush bait fish when they're coming out of the deep water. So definitely pay attention to this, man, and try this technique. And if it works for you, like I said, put it in the comment area, man. Let me know. But if it doesn't, I like to hear that input also, man. So let's just continue to work this. I got the fairy one in my hand, y'all. Just working these clay banks, man, with the fairy one. Once again, guys, I'm running this on 8-pound test, 100% P-line fluorocarbon. And the reason for that, man, I just like P-line is an excellent line. It's durable, and the visibility is very low, man. So I always find it real successful when I use the P-line product. I also use Berkeley, man, Tri-Lane, man. Hey, it's got a better price on it, so you can't beat that also. So like I said, I use 100% fluorocarbon. This is a 6.6 fairy one. Short rod, man, so I can get better accuracy when I'm out here on the water with these little rods here. Maybe on the next video I'll get a chance to show you all my bait casters and the size line and things that I use on my bait casters. Yeah, got a nice bite there, right up on the bank. Maybe they switched up. At first they were biting in probably about 8 to 10 feet of water, man, but it looks like now that the sun's came up, these fish are right on the bank. So let's continue to work this Ned rig on this bank, man, and see what we can produce. There's a nibble. Let's see. Get in the boat. Old Ned rig. All right, y'all, just to give you an update. The bite was getting real slow, man. I could see bait fish everywhere. I mean, they were all over the water. You could see schools of them coming, but I couldn't get them to bite. So I went to the Ned rig, man. Those of y'all that know the Ned rig, it's the Midwest technique. As you can see, man, I just caught a nice about 2.5 pounder on there, and so I got the next bite, man. And as you can see, my Ned rig been sitting in my rod locker for months, man. So I should have switched the hooks out, but I didn't. But right now I'm relying on the Ned rig to try to get some more bites. They're right here in the sand bottom areas. Anywhere where it's a sand bottom, real shallow. I'm taking that Ned rig and I'm working it along the banks very slowly, man, and been getting quite a few bites. So I'm gonna keep it up, man. I'm gonna put another hook on here, man, and we're gonna keep that pattern up and see how it turns out. What I like to do with the Ned rig, man, when I rig it up, I first just like to stretch the plastic, man, to get that salt up to the top, and it gives it a little bit more action when you got it in the water. You just thread it on, man, and Just go directly down in the middle of it. Try to get down as far as possible through the middle of the bait there. Then you just thread it right out. Come down on the head and pull it up and just give it a tug. It has a little bait stopper on there that kind of holds it on, man. And this bait, man, is a Z-Man product, man. I mean, I can catch 20, 30, 40 fish on the same bait, man. My hook just gave out on me. It's a shroom head hook, man, by Ned Rig. And this is all I use, man. When the bite gets real tough, I pull out a Ned Rig.